Hello, everybody. This is teacher Linda G. I've been teaching English as a foreign language for 3 years. I teach online. My students come from everywhere in the world, Spain, Italy, France. I have a student who lives in Martinique. So basically everywhere in the world. I've had a lot of students from Turkey, for example, as well. And I have some students from China. Now, I have one student in particular who's preparing for the Linguaskill. This is an assessment that will assess the different skill sets. Yeah. My goal for you is for you to have an idea of what the Linguaskill is all about. Now, I have to tell you, I am not an expert when it comes to assessments. I'm a teacher. I help my students improve their speaking skills, reading skills, listening skills, writing skills, but I'm not an examiner. I'm going to give you a general idea on how to prepare for it today. Now I'm going to share my screen with you here. And you can see that I'm on the Cambridge Assessment English site. And this is information on preparing for the Linguaskill. You'll notice here they have two different tests, the general or the business one. When you click on Linguaskill General, you'll notice that they have the reading and listening, the writing and the speaking. And same thing for the business, the reading and listening, the writing and the speaking. Now, from what I understand, each one of these are different. And I'm going to be showing you some examples in just a few minutes. The Linguaskill, from what I understand, is online. It's all done online, which means that you're not going to be meeting a person in front of you. You will be asked questions, or you'll be given an assessment, and you'll be in front of you. All right, so we went to the reading and listening. I clicked on it and it suggests here to play the sound. You want to make sure that you do have headphones on and that you can hear the sound.
Please change the volume using the volume settings on your device. Click on the arrow at the bottom of the screen when you are happy with the sound. Please change the volume using the volume settings on your device. Click on the arrow at the bottom of the screen when you are happy with the sound.
Well, I'm happy with the sound, so I'm going to click at the bottom here. And I'm going to read the instructions fairly quickly, but I want you to be doing that when you're actually practicing. It's an adaptive test. This demonstration will show you what the questions look like. There are two parts, listening and reading. To move through the questions, click the arrows in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, right at the bottom here. In the listening part of the demonstration, you have time to read the questions. Click the play button to listen, and you can listen to it twice. So I'm going to click it here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to give you some ideas of what it's like. So let's click Start. And it says now click on the right arrow to begin the listening part of the test. We need to click the arrow right at the bottom here. And it's going to say you have to read the instructions. For this question, choose the correct answer. Read the question first. Click play to listen. You can listen twice. Well, I'm going to play here.
Do you know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow? My group want to go on the boat trip to the island, but they won't enjoy it if it's raining.
I think you'll be okay. They say it'll be cloudy but dry tomorrow.
Oh, great. Too much sun isn't a good thing either.
So you can listen, and you have to choose the picture that corresponds with what the speaker said. You don't get your responses right away. But if you want to hear it again, you can just click again because you can listen twice. And I'm going to continue now. It says, for this question, choose the correct answer. Read the question first. Click play to listen. You can listen twice. I'm going to read the question here out loud. Why can't the man use the self-service machine to check in? 1, his customer booking reference is wrong. His flight isn't open for check-in yet. His reservation is part of the group. So it's important to read the question first so that when you're listening to it, you're listening for that information. I'm going to play it now.
Can I help you, sir?
I'm trying to use this self-service machine to check in, but it won't let me.
Could I see your booking reference?
Yes, here it is. But I'm sure I entered the correct number.
Ah, I see you're booked on a group flight. You'll need to check in at a desk. I'll find you one that's open so you don't have to queue. Please follow me.
All right. So if you can see the answer right away, then you would click the answer. But if you need to listen to it again, then, because you can, click on it again.
Can I help you, sir?
I'm trying to use this self-service machine to check in, but it won't let me.
Could I see your booking reference?
Yes, here it is.
So once you've heard it, you need to click what you think the right answer is. And I'm going to click this one. And I'm going to keep going. And here's our next question. So make sure you read the question first and then click the play button to listen to it. You can listen to it twice. This is about James Carter, a photojournalist who takes photographs for magazines, given a talk about his work. Let's read all the questions first. Why did James decide he wanted to be a photojournalist? Several members of his family worked for newspapers. He enjoyed taking photographs when he was a boy. He was impressed by the work of a famous photographer. James has recently attended a course on commercial photography, action photography, or color photography. What was the subject of the last article James did in Australia? Towns, deserts, wildlife. Now, you don't want to read word per word. You just want to read fairly quickly. James mostly gets ideas for his photographs, talking to reporters, conversations when he's walking around. He says that when he photographs people, he treats them politely. He does so secretly. Okay, so I've quickly looked at the questions, and now I'm going to listen.
My name is James Carter, and I work as a photojournalist. I take photographs for newspapers and magazines. I didn't decide to become a professional photographer until I was in my 20s. My grandfather, father, and mother all had jobs on newspapers, but as a boy, I wanted to do something different. Then, when I was in college, I saw an exhibition of the work of a famous photojournalist, and the pictures were so exciting that I changed my mind. I bought a camera and started to learn how to use it.
So let's
There
go
have
back
been a
and
lot.
take a look at the writing assessment here. So notice that this is a different assessment. The first one was reading and listening, and another assessment is the writing. We're going to take a look at the writing one right now. Sample test, instructions and information. The writing tests last 45 minutes. Okay, there are 2 parts. Answer both parts. You should spend about 15 minutes on part 1 and about 30 minutes on part 2. Use the arrow buttons at the bottom of the screen to move between parts. That means you can go from one to the next and again to the next. You can change your answers at any time during the assessment, during the test. When you're ready, click on start. Okay, let's click on start. And you can see here, they do have a timer. When I hover over it, it tells me how much time I have left. Now, it is suggesting that I spend about 15 minutes on this task. It's going to be important for me to start right away to read it. You have received this email from a friend who you went to college with. Do you know it would soon be 5 years since we finished college. I think we should contact our old friends and arrange to meet again. Have you got any ideas about what we could do to celebrate and when? Write and tell me, Jan. So this is the topic. This is the topic, this part here. It's an email from a friend that I went to college with. It's important to know, to pay attention to the instructions here. And of course, it's important to pay attention to what Jan, in this case, is saying. And here is what you need to do, to whom you need to write an email to Jan. And they're telling you here what you could write about. Suggest a good way to celebrate with your old college friends, explain when would be the best time for the celebration, and offer to help organize the celebration. You have to write at least 50 words, minimum 50 words. And what you can do here, you notice how it has copy and paste. You can open up a Word document if you want, or you could simply use a paper and pen and start writing down your ideas, noticing again the keywords. It's a friend. So if it's a friend, that means, are you going to use formal language? No, you need to use informal language. You also need to reply. This is an email, so you need to make sure that you're using language that you would be using in an email. And if it's a friend, you need to make sure you're using appropriate language, so informal language, because that's how you would respond to a friend. So you can open up a Word document, and I'm just going to write a few things here. Hi, Jane. I've received an email. It's good to hear from you. You know, it will be, wow, 5 years already. And you know, this is how I would respond by email. 5 years already. I can't believe it. So then, of course, this is just the greeting part. You need to suggest a good way to celebrate with your old college friends. So you need to respond to this message. Notice the time, 41:52 left for this activity. We have about 15 minutes. Now we start at 45, so we would have plenty of time to finish this. I'm not going to finish this. We're going to go on to the next one now. Here, you should spend about 30 minutes on this task. The town where you live has a website where local people can discuss local issues. You are concerned about the increase in car and truck traffic in the town and have decided to post your comments on the town website. Write your comments for the town website. So this is the topic here. And they're telling you what you need to write. You need to write comments for the town website. So this isn't a friend like in the other exercise. This needs to be written in formal language. And what you're going to write about, why you think the amount of traffic is increasing in your town, what problems the increased traffic is causing in your town, how the amount of traffic in your town could be reduced, and any other points you think are important. You need to write at least 180 words, a minimum 180 words. So you need to think, how am I going to respond to this? This is something that I need to respond on the website, right? On the town website. They have a website where local people discuss local issues. And I'm concerned about the increase in car and truck traffic in the town. Okay, so that means that I'm worried about that. And I'm going to post my comments. So I might start with saying, I'm really concerned about the car and truck traffic in my town. You might even say in our town. This is causing some congestion on the main road. And I'm always late for work, for example. Now, I started writing this right away. You know you have 30 minutes. 30 minutes on this one and 15 minutes on the other task. So what I'm suggesting to you is for you to take some paper and a pen and write down your ideas. Write it down on a piece of paper or on your Word document. Start writing down your ideas, your plan, why you think the amount of traffic is increasing in your town, too many cars, people are traveling at the same time. So you have to think of why this is and why you think the amount. So you want to write yourself a plan. And then what problems this is causing your town. I wrote that it's causing some congestion. And how the amount of traffic, so the solution, how can this be resolved? So before you start typing on this part itself, you want to write it on a piece of paper and get your ideas on a piece of paper. Now notice at the bottom here, it does tell you how many words you have. I have now 28 words, but I need at least 180 words, minimum 180 words. I hope this gave you an idea on how to complete this test. Notice that the arrows at the bottom when I use the arrow at the bottom here, what I had written wasn't there. So I'm not sure if this is a problem with the platform. When I use the arrow to go to the next, my words are still there. But when I use the arrow to go back to number 1, the words that I wrote aren't there. I'm not sure if this is an issue with the platform or not. I'm going to try something here. Hi, Jan. It's great to hear from you. I'm just writing it out just to see what it could be. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to use the bottom here to go back to number 2. Okay, my words are still there. Go back to number 1. My words are there. Great. I'm going to click the arrow to see if my words are still there. Now, if I go using the bottom arrow, my words are still there. I don't know why it didn't register the first time. So this gives you an idea of the writing test. Now, once you're finished, notice that here, for some reason, I think that's a platform issue. It says we have 44 minutes. At the end, when there's 0 minutes left, you won't be able to write anymore. So use up the time necessary. Take the time to review what you're writing. And then when you're out of time, it'll just stop. But for now, I'm going to end the test here so we can go on to the next part. All right, so we're going to look at the speaking. Now, because I've used this site a few times for my students to help them practice, I wasn't always able to access the tests. I had to delete my cookies. So I had to go to my settings and go to clear browsing data here to delete my cookies so that I could use the site again. All right, let's take a look at the speaking assessment now. It does say here, put on your headphones and click on play sound.
Please change the volume using the volume settings on your device.
And then it says here,
When you are happy with the sound, move on to check your microphone.
we need to check our microphone. It says here, click on start recording. I need to save this, so I'm going to record this now. They're asking you to do this so that you can make sure you're speaking loud enough for the system to register. Remember, everything's online. The speaking assessment is online. So you need to speak loud enough so that the system picks up your voice and can register it, record it. Hello, I'm taking a speaking test on a computer. Please wait, uploading. Hello, I'm taking a speaking test on a computer. Now my student, please wait, today tried it. There was an error message because she wasn't speaking loud enough or she wasn't using the exact same settings. Not exactly sure. So then we could go on to the next item. All right, so this says speaking sample test instructions. It lasts 15 minutes. Answer all the questions. Listen carefully and please speak when you're instructed. There are 5 parts to this test. Some of the parts require you to listen and respond. Some of the parts require you to read and respond. The timer will show you how long you have to give your answers. Then you click start when you're ready. Well, I'm not going to do the entire test here. Suffice to say that it can be quite challenging. That's why I'm suggesting for you to use this site to practice. I'm just going to give you a few examples here. So let's click start.
Hello. Welcome to the Linguaskill speaking test.
Listen to each
Part 1.
after the tone,
You will be asked 8 questions.
saying exactly.
Listen to each question and answer after the tone. For questions 1 to 4, you will have 10 seconds to speak. For questions 5 to 8, you will have 20 seconds to speak. What's your name?
My name is Linda Robert. I heard the beep. I started talking. It's uploading.
How do you spell your family name?
My family name is spelled capital R-O-B-E-R-T. Notice the seconds here. Then it goes to the next question. I'm just going to do a few more.
Where are you from?
I am from Sudbury, Ontario, Canada.
Do you work or are you a student?
I work. I'm currently a teacher of English as a foreign language.
What do you enjoy doing at weekends?
On weekends, I love hanging out with my friends. I love going for walks. I love going to restaurants and eating Mexican food or whatever pleases me. I enjoy just hanging out and watching movies as well. Notice the time.
Do you get many opportunities to speak English?
Yes, I do actually. I'm a teacher, and so I speak English with my friends, with my students. I speak English with my supervisors. I speak English a lot. So I have a lot of opportunities to speak English. This is question 6. There are 2 more questions for the general. This is the general one.
What's the best thing that happened to you last week?
Last week, best thing that happened to me is that I discovered a new beach. So I walked all the way down this walking path to a small city called Cerritos. And once I got there, I noticed a beautiful beach, and it was awesome. Remember, the question was about last week, so I had to use the past tense.
Where would you like to live in the future?
That's a great question. In the future, I'd like to live where my children live. Now, they live in Sudbury, Ontario, so I would like to live there too. Now, if I could live anywhere in the world, I think I would live in different parts of the world. Maybe Mexico, maybe.
Thank you. Part 2. You will see 8 sentences on the screen.
There are 5 parts.
You will have 10 seconds to read each sentence aloud after the tone. Sentence 1. Please begin reading out loud now.
The library is closed for staff training until 11 o'clock. These are sentences for them to assess your pronunciation, your intonation, your stress.
Sentence 2.
Mrs. Hill would like to accept the invitation.
Sentence 3.
The bus timetable can sometimes change at short notice. Now, this is the last sentence. It's going to go on now to part 3. We're just going to take a
Thank you.
They are.
Part 3. You will have 1 minute to talk about a topic.
40 seconds to read.
First, you have 40 seconds to read the task and prepare what you are going to say. You will then have 1 minute to speak.
Write yourself some little.
Please speak for all the time you have.
Quickly. Now talk about a practical skill you would like to learn. You should say what practical skill you would like to learn, why you would like to learn the practical skill, how difficult you think it would be to learn this skill. You have to think of a skill you want to learn. It doesn't have to be anything that's too difficult. Remember, they're assessing your speaking skills. I think I'm going to talk about sewing. So I'm thinking of sewing. I'm thinking of what I want to learn, why I want to learn that, and how difficult I think it would be. Now,
Please begin speaking now.
so one of the skills I want to learn is sewing. My grandmother used to have a sewing machine and taught me when I was a kid, but because I haven't sewn forever, it's one of the things that I want to learn again. So one of the things that I really want to make is a dress. I would love to learn how to sew a dress. Now, this is going to be so useful for me because I'll be able to wear this dress everywhere during the summer. I think it's going to be not so difficult for me to learn how to do this because my grandmother did teach me when I was younger, except now that I haven't practiced for a while, I do need to refresh some of the skills. So it's not going to be as hard as I think, although I'm not ready to cut through fabric just yet. I need to make sure I know exactly where to cut the fabric before I start sewing the dress. I'm looking forward to learning this skill. Whew, not easy to do, guys. I'm going to just show you part 4.
Part 4.
I'm not.
You will have 1 minute to leave a message for an English-speaking friend about some visual information. First, you have 1 minute to look at the information and prepare what you are going to say. You will then have 1 minute to leave your message. Please speak for all the time you have.
Okay, so notice that here We have a minute to read. Your English-speaking friend wants to buy a cycling jacket and asks you for your advice. Okay, the table shows product reviews for 2 cycling jackets. Look at the tables and leave a message for your friend. Right now, I'm still able to take the time to read. There are some yellow jackets and blue jackets. We know there are some jackets that are waterproof, color, comfort, their prices. The Stay Dry jacket's 110. So you need to take a look at the table and think about how you're going to present this information. Remember, you're talking
Speak
to your
for all the
teacher.
time you have.
Okay, notice what it says. A journalist is writing a magazine articles about people's attitude to technology, the internet. He wants to find out your opinion about technology and the internet. He's going to ask me questions about useful technology in daily life, having the newest technology, social media, online advertising, depending on technology. So that is what I'm going to have to talk about. But he is going to ask me questions related to this. So I need to think of answers for each of these questions. We're going to do a couple of questions. I'm not going to respond to them, but I want you to be thinking about how you would respond to them. You have 40 seconds to read the task, 20 seconds to respond.
Which technology do you think is most useful to people in their daily life?
Notice that I now have 20 seconds to respond, to give my answer to which technology I find useful in my daily life. At the end of the 20 seconds, that's it. It's going to go to the next question. So I have to listen and respond right away. Here's the second question.
Okay, thanks. How important do you think it is to have the newest technology?
I think it's really important for me to have the newest technology. I'm a teacher. I use Zoom. I use my telephone. I have a smart telephone. So for me, it's extremely important to use the latest technology. It helps me get things done. It's recording, and then it's going to upload, and it's going to go to the next question. I'm going to stop this here.
Okay, thanks. In your opinion, is social media a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it has its pros and cons. I think there's some great information out there on social media. It's informative, but I also think that a lot of people can get caught up in social media and believe everything that's written on social media. So in that sense, it's a bad thing. Now, we've gone through the various parts of the Linguaskill general assessment. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that by seeing me go through the activities of the reading and listening and the writing and the speaking, that it gives you a good idea on what you need to do to prepare for it. If you want to work with a teacher, that's what I'm here for. That's what teachers are here for. My name is Teacher Linda G, and you can send me an email at backinthegroove@gmail.com if you want me to help you with this assessment or any other assessment. See you soon. Bye. Take care.